Yeah, we're a dead channel. Okay, so basically, I haven't uploaded anything because of certain circumstances. I can't get into buildings and I'm not allowed to legally go full on into it, but basically there was an incident at a high school. I'm not allowed to go to schools no more. Or at least, you know, the way I used to. I'm sure there's ways that I can go, but yeah, investigations have been far and slim. And 7900 was torn down, so I can't really go there anymore. So, because we're a dead channel, why the fuck am I even still trying this? It's been almost a year. What I'm gonna do is basically, I want to not be a Ghost Adventures parody anymore, because that's what I was trying to avoid for the longest time, but that's what this ended up becoming, and I'm kind of mad at myself at that, but hey, you know what? It's my channel, I get to do what I want. So what I want to do is, I want to start having videos that are based around the name Ghost Theory, because the whole premise of Ghost Theory was it was supposed to be a combination of science study and neurobiology along with trying to prove through neurobiology that spirits are a possibility and ghosts can exist. Interesting concept. That's not what we're doing today. Eventually down the road I would like to do a video like that, but not today. Today I want to do something different. So I'm sure everyone who's a ghost hunter or any form of interest in the paranormal has seen this footage of this school in Ireland. Now, at this point, everyone knows that this footage is, if it's real, first of all, batshit crazy. First of all, I want to say that this is batshit crazy. Like, if there is a ghost strong enough to move filing cabinets, then, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's a pretty crazy ghost. I don't know what the hell I would do in that situation. Anyway, so what I want to do today is I want to limit myself. BuzzFeed made a video about this and why this is a hoax. And then they proceeded to explain how you needed expensive software and a bunch of other dumb bullshit. So we're gonna do it on a budget. That's right. We're gonna try and make that video, and I'm gonna show you how I would fake it, even though I really don't want to fake it because that is poor integrity. Wink. I want to show how they could have faked this video. Now I just want to put a disclaimer that this is not necessarily fake. None of these style videos that I want to do are going to be conclusive in that realm. I just want to see how far I can take it to see, you know, budget-wise, how much you can manipulate something on a budget to make it look real. And of course, low quality is the best way to do that. So, my budget for every single video is going to be $0. I'm going to use things I have around the house, I'm going to use my phone for footage, and I'm going to use just an array of things to make it as amateur as possible. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a background in video production. I actually used to be a video editor for my main job. So I have a very strong background in how to manipulate footage and how to present things in such a way that I could show you how it's done fake. Now, I can already hear you in the comments, oh, but you've faked stuff before. Name a ghost hunting team that hasn't. However, I will say, 7900, all of that was real. Other stuff I can get into later. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to basically be using my family's trash can that we have in this back area. Oh, by the way, I've been reduced to making videos, not in my nice, cool little office that I have, but in this hot as hell shed. Yeah, it's about 104 degrees, thanks July. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to delve into this in the physical aspect, and then I'm gonna take you to the edit room, and I'm gonna limit my edit. So the edit project that I have, edit project again. So the editing software I have is Final Cut Pro, and that is, you know, because it was my profession for years, a very professional level product. I'm going to limit what I can do in there. I cannot add in LUTs, I cannot do anything to mess with the composition of the image to an extreme degree. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this footage that I'm going to try and reenact here, and then in post-production, you know, I'm only allowing myself to do things that I could also do in places like Movie Maker or iMovie, or, you know, things on that low level of a budget. So basically, I'm going to do this with no budget, because if you're going to make a hoax, you're not going to spend that much time doing it. So first, I want to take a look at the camera angle. Okay, so it's basic CCTV bullshit, right? So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take this camera, I'm gonna go outside, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and CCTV it up. And what I'm gonna do after that is I'm gonna take the garage, yeah, I'm gonna take the whole garage. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the garbage bin and we're gonna treat that like the filing cabinet that you see in the video. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because I don't have a filing cabinet, and if I was to use the one that I have in the house, it's just too much effort to ask of me. So we're gonna just use the bin because it's over there. So now that we established that, the things I'm going to do are just household objects. So I'm going to use some fishing line, I'm going to use some packing tape. I'm going to use things that are just common household items. In the BuzzFeed video, they mentioned that, oh yeah, you can use After Effects and Premiere Pro. Okay, well, let's not assume everyone can afford that, because if you're going to make a hoax, it's a kind of in-the-moment decision, so especially if you're at school. Then again, I'm from the US, schools aren't funded well. Hey! I should know, most of the places I investigated were schools in DPS, and they didn't fall down when I was in them. When I get this set up, we're gonna do the physical experiment, and then I'm gonna take it to the edit room to see if I can't make it a little bit better. And then I'm going to provide the final bit of analysis afterwards to say how likely it was that this was fake, even though it's not conclusive, just how easy it is to fake something like this. I want to do this with an array of things, one of which being my own video, because I want to be different. I didn't want to be the Ghost Adventures parody. I didn't want to walk around in dark places and be all, cinematic with it. I wanted to go and prove to the world if ghosts were real or not, because I grew up with a very haunted house, as you guys saw with 7900. I wanted to show the world if that was real, or if I was just psyching myself out. Inconclusive. If you follow this channel, you have received no answers, and you have received low-budget Ghost Adventures videos. So without further ado, let's take this outside. I got the tape, fishing lines over there. Let's see if I can't make a ghost in broad daylight. Okay, so from the last place we were, I have literally moved, I'm not kidding, like 5 feet. So what we're gonna do is when we take this bin and we are going to try to make it look like a ghost. Now, I am going to be out of sight, and I'm going to take into consideration that that hallway was extremely thin. There were no doors where you could really hide someone to pull a line. So I'm going to take that into consideration, and I'm going to try, first thing first, we're going to basically get a full shot of this, because that's how the filing cabinet was in the video, and I'm going to hide behind it, and the very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to just start pushing it. Let's go make a ghost. Okay, oh, thank you, Fly, for your input on all of this. Okay, now, I feel like that was surprisingly accurate, and that was kind of good with, how I was able to get it to move. But with the footage, it appears that the filing cabinet's pretty, flush in the wall. It could be it's one of the filing cabinets that does not have a back. I'm seeing older filing cabinets that are like that. Thanks, Playing. I'm seeing older filing cabinets that have the holes in it, or, not a back on it. That way when you pull it, you could probably hide something, or, I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a stretch. But maybe if there was like a little nook for them to hide in, that could have been a possibility. As good as that looks, I don't think that was something that they did, if they chose to, if this wasn't really a ghost. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some fishing line, and I'm going to set the camera back up, and we're going to try that route, and hopefully we'll get something out of that. Okay, so this is the fishing line that I found. It was literally just laying around the house. I looked it up. It was only about $2, so that fits within this low budget style of trying to fake this stuff. What we're gonna do is we are going to use fishing line to, oh god, okay, that was not supposed to happen. Alright, well I'm gonna fix this and we're gonna make a ghost. Okay, so something I didn't take into consideration, this shit sucks. Normally some fishing lines can hold like fish that are 120 pounds. I don't think this is that kind of fishing line. Okay, so I'm gonna step off camera and we're gonna test it. Alright, fishing line test. Okay, so I need to go higher because going that low is doing nothing but rattling it. And in that video, the filing cabinets were tipping. So let me find another way to do this. Okay, so basically what I just did is I put the line on top rather than that lower bar there, so that when I pull it, it's not like in the center, it'll be, you know, more top heavy. So let's see how that works. That was pretty dang good. Okay, that actually worked really well, despite the fact that, you know, I got really cheap line. So now that that worked, that was pretty cool. The problem with it is you can pretty obviously see the line. So what we're gonna do is that's gonna be one we take to post-production, and we'll see how well that works. Next thing I want to do is use masking tape, because reasons. I don't know, I've never seen someone try to fake something with masking tape, so I just want to throw it out there. Everyone uses fishing line, everyone knows about fishing line. Maybe they use something else. I just realized I'm making a ghost push literal garbage. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is just kind of figure out how to get masking tape to stick, or packing tape to stick. And we're gonna go that route. Alright, so this is the masking tape, fuck, this is the packing tape. Does it matter? Is it the same shit? Editor, is it? This is what we're gonna be using. I'm really disappointed because this is the only roll I have, and I really don't feel like going out and getting more. But hey, YouTube, and trying to have fun on a Sunday when you really, really don't want to go back to work during a pandemic. Anyway, so, oh, look, that's a great way to start. So the properties of masking tape is that it is so unbelievably clear. I don't even know if you can see it, but it's there. I'm thinking this might be better than the fishing line. Not in regards of strength. The strength was unbelievably good. And like I said, if they did go get fishing line, there's better fishing line to get than what I had. So I'm going to basically take this masking tape, tie it around that same handle, and then I'm going to try and do the same thing, but with masking tape. So I'm going to take this, and where the knot was, I'm going to wrap it around like such. Okay, now that I've got that on top, we're going to just take this and basically waste a bunch of it, if it wants to, you know, work with me here. There we go. Oh, it ripped. That's great. Alright, attempt number 2. Yes, 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 I like it. So far so good. Wow, that is visible in the camera. Alright, so I'm going to leave it right there, and then I'll put it back on the tripod, and we will test it. Alright, I'm going to get off camera, and we're going to try and pull this with masking tape. You know what I mean. Alright, test. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think that was a lot more visible than I maybe thought it would be. It held up a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was for sure gonna break, and it didn't. It seems to pull it very well. But like you can even see it in this shot, it's like way too visible because it's way too reflective. And it's only when I hold it not in the sunlight. Like, you see that? Yeah. I think that's what was killing it. So maybe if this was in a darker, more controlled area, this would work, but I think for the purposes of this video, it does not. Like I said, I'm really surprised at the durability. This stuff actually held up pretty well. Now all of that is done. We're going to go back in the little horrible hot little shed, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. So this worked out surprisingly well, but this is probably going to be what we end up going with. So with this, and then me being behind it, we're going to go to the edit room, and we're going to see how well that worked. Okay, so before I get interrupted, because I live in a very loud house, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that footage, I'm going to screen capture my edit process, and I'm going to try and see how legitimate it is. Okay, so now we're in the edit bay, and get rid of that. Alright, so now that I'm in the edit bay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the footage, so I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go to footage, And this is all the stuff we filmed today. So I'm going to click all that lovely juicy stuff. I don't like that that's randomly, oh, it's all out of order, okay. And we're going to import it all. Yeah, I had to stop recording halfway so I can import this footage. Oh, it's grainy, yay. Okay, so we're going to find the clips of me moving shit. So here's the first one. Now, you can see, where does it start? Alright, so first of all, you can see me behind there. Great shit. But hopefully I'm out of the way enough. Okay, cool. So I would say right about there. You don't need that. And I'm gonna start, yeah, right, just like that. That actually is pretty convincing. And there's no strings attached. And you can't tell that necessarily that is as far away from the wall as it looks. And in an area where you can control lighting, which I actually wasn't even in, you can manipulate depth. And in this instance, it doesn't, you could argue that it was just a very large or long trash can. So when you look at it, that actually kind of works. So now we have the masking tape. And to my surprise, it actually held up very well. And it's really hard to see, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply a little blur on it, which you can do in Movie Maker and iMovie, or at least you used to be able to when I would use that stuff when I was an amateur. So we're going to take this, we're going to drop it on, like that. Even in seeing it like that, well, you don't want to fuck with the blur too much, so what we're going to do is only make it like a little bit around the 2.8 range. I actually don't know if you can manipulate blur like that. Huh, I might have to look into that. So now it's just a bunch of that stuff and then put a black and white filter on it. That way some of the color is lost. Now it's just like that. On a budget, tape is too reflective. Even though it was see-through, you can still see how it's bouncing off the light, and you can even see in the shade that it was a bit much. So now what I'm going to try and do is simple cropping, which for Movie Maker you can do it, it's just maybe a little too advanced. So because the camera doesn't move, I'm going to find a piece of brick like this, and I'm going to duplicate the layer on top. Right here is a good example of it, of matching the finished wall, but then right here you still see some tape on it, and it would be suspicious if you have it like that and it starts moving and all of a sudden you're cropping your image. It doesn't look consistent and it looks very different. Now, in Final Cut Pro, this is not going to be part of the final product at all. I just want to show you that if you did have someone who got the software, you could get something called a gradient mask. If I can find it, there, or a graduated mask, sorry. You can put it on this, and what this basically does is it dissolves, there it is, see? It dissolves your mask. So you can blend it into the top, and the bigger you have the mask, the more it kind of fades in to the image. And you can add multiple of these masks. See, I have completely covered that area now. And so that's, I mean, I will have to do it to everything. I will have to go get images from, like, you know, the other shots. I'd have to manipulate them. I'd have to go into a whole process, and that's not necessarily the effort that I'm trying to put into this. The effort that I want to put into this is some random person who got the idea that, hey, I'm gonna fake a ghost today. So far with the tape and the me being behind it seems to be the best way to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the fishing line. So the fishing line is by default like the better way to do things. It is very thin, it can be easy to mask. However, from what I'm seeing so far, it might be a little bit, you know, difficult to control. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play it just to see how it looks. Alright, we don't need to see me in this, you already saw that. That line is going to be a problem, so what we're going to do is put the blur on, because blur takes away a lot of the composition. See how when it's blur, you can make out the trash can, but that line is not as visible as it should be. So I'm going to, again, lessen it to the degree that, you know, is somewhat understandable. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make it smaller. CCTV is normally at a lower resolution so that it has more data that it can record. So like if you were to film all CCTV at 4K, well, that would be like a terabyte of footage for, I would guess, 18 hours or something like that. But if you were to record at like 720 or 144p, I know we all look at that and go, ew, gross, low resolution. But when you have that low quality, as long as a picture is somewhat maintained for CCTV, it's fine. Or so what you do is you record at that low resolution, that way you can record longer periods of time and record, you know, have more backups of the day. You're more likely to have a full day recording at 144p than you are to have it at 1080. Plus, it's not going on the internet unless a ghost is caught. So now we have that blur. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the image. So I'm going to scale it back some. That's just an estimation of, you know, some lower resolution. That's probably around 360p right there. Or actually, that might be 720. I don't know. I haven't been an editor for a while, but you can still very well see the strength. So now what we're going to do is, it's just going to be filters on filters on filters. What's something that I can mess with? What's this? What will this look like? See, that one's like weird because you can see the line. It's like so like evident. So here's another thing I want to try. Again, this goes outside the realm, but I'm going to put a graduated mask on this, and then I'll explain in a second. What happens if I put a mask on this, and I blur the hell out of this? So we're going to boost that by a lot. And then we're going to go here, where the mask is, and we are going to make it very, very thin. And that actually gets rid of the line pretty damn well. And then I can, you know, adjust a little more like that. Boom, perfect. Look at that. So the line is almost gone, but you can still see it. It's just not your point of focus. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put more blur on it, because when in doubt, blur the fuck out of it. So with more blur on it, we're going to change the composition a bit. Again, this is more layering. There are other softwares like not Vegas. There are other softwares and like knockoff things you could download to get these kind of effects. One of the very first creepy vignettes I ever made was in some Avid knockoff. It wasn't actually Avid, but it had a bunch of filters in it, and it was free. So those are available. So when it comes to just filtering, that's something more along the lines of what I'm going to allow here. Even though the graduated mask here is not something I'm going to allow for the final product. So now we gotta get this to match at least a little bit to the blur. That's fine, I can accept that. At this point, it doesn't look like shit. But if you look at it, you can't see the line. But that's only in a still image. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to play it and notice how visible the line moving is. So that's pretty damn visible. To further my point in, you know, CCTV, this already looks like shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some text. This project, you can manipulate this by putting a black box. If you keep it in black, it's going to be fine. But if you put a black box around it, you gotta make sure that there's consistency, so the same font you use for CCTV is the same one you want to use for here. Alright, going at this again. My camera's about to die. This is the finished product with the fishing line. Not bad. However, I will say that the best footage I think we could make is if I real quick do this and make this blurred in black and white. I'm seeing my battery like getting closer and closer to dying, so it's making me more and more anxious about it. So now I gotta work quick. Okay, so there's that. We're gonna scale it again. A little more. Right there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it black and white. Holy shit, this is going really fast. I really need to make sure I get this done before the fucking camera dies. Okay, so we're gonna put that on there, and then we're gonna play it, and then there you go. That's how you fake it. Okay, so that's probably as good as that's gonna get, and that's probably how you're gonna fake stuff. So, when in doubt, blur the hell out of it. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not conclusive. This is not how they actually would have done it. I was just trying to find a way on a budget to recreate moving a filing cabinet like that. So, if you have any suggestions on how they could have done it, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious, actually. I'm gonna keep making more videos like this because this was actually really fun and really interesting. And I like when I get to be myself. I'm done being that weird, monotone, illegitimate sort of ghost hunter. I really prefer to do stuff like this. And if you want to see more, well then you're in luck because I'm doing way more of this stuff because it was fun to make. So, thank you for coming along with this. And my conclusion is, on a budget, you could make a ghost. Thanks for watching, and yeah, that's how you fake a ghost.